Hi, everybody. Randy Royce here with the Fatherhood Playbook. I'm so excited for episode 1. I got a special guest with us, Jose Lebron. Jose has just done an incredible job of raising 2 young men here in Colorado Springs. One that you'll probably hear of or know of, Matthew Lebron, who will be playing basketball at UCCS this year. This is just my opportunity to sit down with Jose, figure out how I can improve as a parent as I'm raising 3 kids at home. And if this is something that might help you, a friend, a father, please go ahead and forward or tag them in this message. Jose, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you. Thank you for the invite.
Jose, can you first start off by telling us a little bit about your family?
So we, family of 2 boys, and my wife, Leslie. A military family. We've been all over the place. Got to Colorado about 12 years ago and fell in love with the mountains, and then stay here and retired from the military from here in Colorado. And then now I have my 2 boys. Went to college here. I got one that just graduated. Derek just graduated from CSU up in Fort Collins, and then Matthew about to go to UCCS.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Um, just curious, did you grow up with a father in your household?
Oh yes, for sure. I did.
Awesome. What did
Sure
that
did.
mean to you? What are some things that maybe your father installed in you that now to this day you're like, man, I sound like my dad, or this is something my dad would have said to me when I was younger?
So my dad he was a basketball player, believe it or not. So most of our time was shooting free throws, and he always beating me in free throws. So I learned a policeman as well. He retired from the FBI, so I had no chance to get in trouble when I was little.
Discipline.
It was a lot of discipline. I always have to understand that I was the son of an officer, and I have to behave a certain way. But I think at the end of the day, I mean, it worked out, and the discipline was always there. But he was also a dad that taught me to play sports. I never had a chance to do like AAU and certain things like that. But he taught me to do it all. He, went out to the park and learned sports, and he was always present. So overall, it was definitely an important part of my development for sure.
That's awesome. Is your father still with us today?
Oh yes, for sure. Yes.
That's awesome. And where's home for your?
Puerto Rico.
Oh, Puerto
So
Rico.
they both
Okay.
retired in Puerto Rico. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Uh, what does being a father mean to you now? It's having a father that installed so many great things like discipline in you. What does it mean to you to now have 2 boys that have?
Well, it's the biggest. To me, it's the biggest responsibility. Like the biggest responsibility you can have as a human being. It's first of all set the example for your kids so they can do a successful man's in the future, and then make sure that you're also there for them throughout their development. So the most important title that you can have as an adult is just to be either mom or dad for sure. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. When the boys were little, what do you remember about your parenting style that has maybe changed now?
I think expectations,
Okay.
expectations. You're trying to be perfect in certain things, and then you understand that as long as you do the right thing, you're giving the right example. Eventually, they're gonna turn down to be on their own and be their own unique person. So being patient and understand that everybody thinks different and everybody has their own ideas and their own opinions to certain things. It took me a little bit to figure it out, but I think I did.
You've done that.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Did your boys play multiple sports? Your dad said that you said your dad had you go to the park and play every
Yeah.
sport. Did your boys also
So
participate
yes,
in multiple
yes, that
sports?
was the recipe at the beginning. I want my kids to if one day they become parents, they be able to play with their kids whatever sport their kids wants to play.
There you go.
Not they don't have to be experts, but they be able to catch a ball or throw a football or hoop with them, do bowling, whatever it is. I think it's sport is that avenue that help you to connect, especially at the early ages. So I wanted my kids to learn at least experience every sport. So they did practice multiple sports for sure.
Now, this might be a little bit off track, but while going through that, multiple different sports, did you ever come across another athlete, another one of Matthew's friends that you thought was super special, but maybe didn't have that father figure or some of the connections that Matthew had? And how did that affect his upbringing and his athletics?
Oh yes, for sure. We plenty kids. Even during my coaching experiences, there's a lot of kids out there that is that missing link. Sometimes that it just when he gets tougher, when they get older, they just on their own. So they move away from the sport, and it's not always the good story. It's not always the I'm moving away from the sport to go to college to do other things. So I do know quite a few. Now there's a lot of wonderful women out there, moms that are they're doing their part. But I do know a couple kids that unfortunately they're not on the right path yet because I do believe that that father present
That father
was
person
not
was
there.
was
Yeah.
absolutely not in the house. What were some non-negotiables? And even as of recently, Matthew has a big game, uh, parties, late nights. Now he has a car. Are we still able to tell Matthew no, or are we giving suggestions as they've grown and
Oh no, yeah, no. There's always gonna be rules in the house, especially if you live in my house. There are rules. I mean, mom is a little bit more strict than that, just because uh, I do understand what he's trying to do. I mean, he's committed to the sport a lot, so I don't get a lot of parties or girlfriends or late nights, but I do get a lot of late nights at the gym. We go to a 24-hour gym, so I do get a midnight. He's still at the gym. Okay, so I have to step in and be like, it is late, but he's at the gym. Jose at 18, he was late and I was not at the
he
gym.
was not at
So
the
no,
gym?
so I have to keep that balance of, hey man, next time plan better so you're not at the gym at 1 o'clock, right? Just to keep mom happy, just to make sure that there is a balance in the house where his work ethic is not overtaking, the times to be at home.
So I guess that leads to my next question. When did you realize basketball was more than a hobby? Was it when he said he was at the gym at midnight, or he's going to
Mm,
get up early, or when did you
nah,
realize like
we like I said, they play multiple sports, and then towards middle school, it became like what's a sport? But they both of my kids is the same thing. They both choose basketball, and I say great because now he's indoors. I don't have to be outside in the cold. So I was like, let's do this. I support them both the same. We just did local basketball in Colorado and stuff like that. And then once high school started approaching, now we had to have that conversation and see, hey, are we doing this for real? We're doing it for fun because there's different levels and they're all available to kids. So you don't have to go to a big circuit if you just want to do it for fun, right? Or if you want to do it competitive, you might not find that at a local, YMCA. So we had that conversation, and he said he was all in, and I held him to it, and we went to work after that. Yeah,
there we go?
yeah.
Okay. Did you know right away that he'd be a college athlete?
No, 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 not really. Um, but I did know that um, for his age, his skill level was a little bit advanced to other local kids. So if we keep working and you catch up, you stay with that class. You be at least for high school level. You be you be more advanced than other high school levels in the local area. Right. Once you start playing out of state, then is when your eyes open and be like, okay, we got to do a little bit more.
We got to do a little.
These kids are real. Yeah.
Absolutely. Did Matthew ever deal with self doubt? As we look from outside looking in, and the points scored, and the captain of the team, and maybe still very, very, very quiet kid. I would still say he's not out there and making a big name for himself or anything like that. But does he ever still struggle with self doubt, and not necessarily just making and missing basketballs, but the am I good enough, Dad? Is this the right path for me, Dad? Do you remember any of those conversations?
I'm pretty sure he did. I think we talked about it, but it was always I was always there to explain him it is a process, right? Just because you're good at 14 doesn't mean you're going to be good at 16, right? So just because you're not good at 14 doesn't mean you're not going to be good at 16. If you work through it, and that was the understanding. Like we just gotta keep working, and eventually you'll come, and you have ups and downs. You have a bad game, and you're like, man, or I'm not growing as everybody else, or I'm not gonna grow this high. I'm not gonna be this tall. Like I always told them, you just focus on the things that you can control, and then we just go from there. Every year let's work a little bit longer, a little bit more, and let's see what it takes you. And that's basically what it was. It was never an expectation to become super good right away, or it was always an understanding that it takes time.
And just put in the
Always from
work,
the beginning, yes.
put in the work with discipline, and let's see where we go.
Yeah.
How did the family stay on the same page? My wife at home, we travel for hockey now, where now the boys are starting to play baseball, or dad's a basketball guy and a tennis guy. What's your recommendation for staying on the same page with my wife as together we face this challenge to raise boys in a sports world where I might go to Kansas or North Dakota for Thursday, Friday, Saturday,
Yeah.
Sunday, and then we come home for a day or two, and then we're going down to Texas. I know we've had multiple weeks where we've been in different states, consecutive weeks in a row.
Yeah.
How do you handle that structure with the family at home and still making sure, like you said, your wife is so important to the process, right? And happy wife, happy life kind of thing. So how did you make sure we got a basketball game, we're going to here, but how did you always keep your wife involved with the game plan?
Well, the wife is definitely super important, because I mean, we gotta be synced on the same task. Okay, they are there. I take care of the training. She might take care of the nutrition, or the resting, or the uniforms being clean, but it's all have to work as a team. I have to pick up some duties at the house, just to make sure that we could leave on time, because she will do some things, I will do some things, up to that moment when we have to leave. And if she's behind on certain things that she's used to do, then I have to go in there and jump on it. Or even the kids, even Matthew and Derek. I mean, like, hey, you want to play basketball? We want to leave on Friday. Get to do those things. Get them done Wednesday or Thursday, so your mom is okay. So everybody has to work together. Like it can definitely not work if the whole family is synced into the same goal. That's part of the success of, I think, any family, and whatever the kids are doing, understanding that we have to compromise, but at the same time we got to help each other.
Did
Yeah.
you feel that your other son, Derek, also
Oh,
made sacrifices for the success of his little brother? And what does that
yes,
mean to you?
yes. I
Um,
mean, big brother. I was a military dad, so sometimes I was running late. I mean, when I made the compromise to go shoot every day from 6 to 8 at the Y, I was not there every day at 6 o'clock. I mean, sometimes I call Derek and be like, "Hey, Derek, can you take your brother to the Y and run him through some drills until I get there?" And he understood what we were trying to do as a family. Luckily they're like 6 or 7 years apart, so his big brother were little brother always saw him as the big brother. There was never a competition of, "Oh, you older by 1 year or two." No, I'm 6, 7 years older than you. He played AAU. He was a high school coach as well. So there was. I mean, when he left to Fort Collins, it was tough because he was the guy out there helping me out with to run what Matthew was trying to do for sure.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Did sports ever create tension?
Oh yes, all the time, and it comes with the expectations. I think as a dad, once you realize, um, and once you level the expectations, then then it helps you understand more that there is another day. This is not the this is not the end of the route. You know what I'm saying? It's not the end of the road. You're always gonna have a better day to fix it, especially when they start getting older and they don't want to listen no more. They start getting a little bit older. They think they can have an opinion, and they gotta have an opinion because now it's getting close to that graduation day and moving on to college. So you have to it's always a process. But yeah, the expectations, your expectation, the kids' expectations, as long as you keep those on check, I think it will definitely be better for
How
the family as a whole, even for the spouse, even for the wife.
now through this process at home, but also maybe in the newspapers or basketball players, you start getting rankings and
Mhm.
stuff like that. Was there ever a time that rankings became a distraction to the family, to Matthew, to his game?
I won't. I mean, I'm pretty sure kids care about it because social media nowadays is everywhere. Um, I try not to, even for me. I mean, I looked at him, and I mean, it is an opinion, and I'm pretty sure, but I never let it. It was always a motivator, if anything. It
Okay.
was never a distraction. I would say it actually helps because now I see what you think about me. Let me prove you wrong, and
Okay.
then he went to work. So it definitely works. It helps.
How did you handle bad games and good games? Is there things that we should do with bad games and good games, or should we handle those car rides the same?
Um, Definitely not having a conversation right after the game. I will. I mean, and I did it in my early days, though I do not recommend it. Uh, because you're going nowhere. The kids is frustrated, the wife is frustrated, you are frustrated. Everybody in the car might have a different opinion. Now you have 3 or 4 people trying to talk or give an opinion about something that already happened. So there's no need for that. My take on it was I will remember what happened in the game, and then I will bring those points up throughout the week at workouts. You lose a ball. Hey, next time, remember what happened last week? You lost the ball. Make sure this doesn't happen. This drill is specifically for that. And
Okay.
then we are talking about it, but at the same time, we working so it doesn't happen again. But uh, bring those topics up right after the game. Not recommended.
Not
No, I
recommended.
don't
Take
think
your
so.
time.
Yeah,
Some coaches, we have that 24-hour rule
yeah, yeah,
with the
yeah,
parents and players. I think that's kind of the same thing. I know it's you want to talk to Cooper after a hockey game, and the good and bad. But sometimes let's just take a few moments to get our thoughts
yeah.
together, and then find another way to express our what we saw, our feelings that way. Um, did you ever come to a point where you pushed Matthew too hard, or even Matthew came to a part where he didn't think basketball was going to be in his future?
No, I never had that problem. We had that conversation about 4 years ago, and that was it. We going for it.
Plan was set.
Yeah, there were some practices that he was probably mad, or he didn't want to work out, or he didn't want to do the drill. That I was trying to teach him at the moment, and we pack our bags and let's go home, kind of thing for a day. Uh, but it was never to a point where he said, I don't want to do this no more.
So did you know when to back off, or did you know when to say, okay, this gym, this isn't working. Let's go at a different approach. Pack your bags. We're going home. You don't want to work hard. We'll just go home today.
So yes, because I had to let him know that I was taking my time to make him better. All right. So if he want to be at the gym, but you don't want to do the drills, let's pack and go, and then we start tomorrow, and then next day or the following throughout the next week, he'll be like, he understood that, you know what, I might not like this drill, but let me get it done because I do want to get better.
Because I want to get.
So yeah, that I had to do a couple of times just to make it clear.
Now, through this process, did you ever question if you were doing it correctly?
Oh, all the time, every single day, because they get older. They get older, and then you start questioning. I was never a college basketball player, so I was just trying to add to his skill level. But yes, they were. I mean, they were. It took a lot of reading, a lot of researching things for me to be like, okay, if A, B, and C, all these athletes are saying that these work, so then let's go for it. All right. So, but yes, if you try to just to do something just because without doing a little research, you can definitely start doubting yourself. Because you don't know, you really don't know what you're doing. But now
That's
if you
right.
say, you know what, you know, Kawhi Leonard do this, or Steph Curry does this, right? Then you're like, okay, so I'm doing something that is backed up by somebody that has done it. And
Absolutely.
then my resume goes out the window. It's not mine. It's the guy that created the workout. So
For
it
sure.
helps on the player too, understanding that it's for the benefit, right?
When things got hard for you, who did you turn to? Were you able to still, did you reach out to your father about father things? Was there faith that was involved with talking to somebody? What do you
Be,
think it was when
believe
you
it,
didn't have the answer?
man. Believe it or not, I, I went straight to the source. I went straight to Matthew, and we figured it out together. I mean, spending so much time training, build that bond where even though I'm that, it's okay for me to be wrong. Like that. There was never a misunderstanding of, you're dad or you my trainer. No, I'm always gonna be that. He understood what we were trying to do, and I'll turn out back to him and be like, hey man, I know yesterday this is what we did. It didn't work out. What you seen that works? Why you were so comfortable with it? And then we came to agreements, and it's like we're gonna do this or we're gonna do it a different way. And you have to acknowledge sometimes that yes, I was wrong, or this is not gonna work. If you don't get to that level of trust, then at some point the kid's gonna just push away. He might not want you there anymore, because he's old enough to train on his own. So having that understanding is very important. Yeah, for sure.
So, all in all, with that being said, do you feel basketball helped the relationship between you and Matthew?
Oh yes, I mean even with Derek, even our oldest son, like we all three love basketball. We all kind of like understand Matthew's the only one playing now, so we all understand what we trying to do or trying to accomplish as a family, because it's a family thing. It's not just a Matthew thing. Um, and we just talk. I mean, basketball brings the family together on a conversation, and then from there, you might pick a line to give an advice, and we're all talking. And you, as a parent, you give an advice or you give a recommendation without even sounding like here comes that again with another spill, like 'cause we just in the mix of a talk.
Right.
So it definitely helps. I would recommend it on any sport for sure.
How did you build confidence without entitlement? I think even as a coach or my son Cooper, we want to install confidence in him, but at the same time, we overdo it. Now we have an entitled kid that gets everything his way. Do you have any sort of advice in how to
Man,
go at confidence without entitling our children?
I think having rules first of all. I mean, like confidence can go both ways. Like you say, the kid might feel like he's entitled to certain things. So as a dad, you have to say no sometimes, even though he might be the best kid in the world. And sometimes we feel like that about our kids. There's always a hard no. and knowingly that eventually you're gonna give it to them, but it has to feel like it's not gonna be now just because you want to. I know you deserve it, but I'm not giving it to you now. I'm gonna give it to you next week. I'm not gonna let you know, So, um, and the discipline, the discipline comes because it's not just in today's sports. It's not just about being good at it. It's so many different layers of respectful, coachable, how you treat your other teammates, and all that stuff comes with rules and respect. And if they figure that part out, then the other side, I think it'll teach itself.
Now, did you ever disagree with a coach, one of Matthew's coaches, but it was, hey, your coach is asking you to do this, you should be coachable, or hey, the plan says we should do this. How did you ever go about that?
I never, during high school, during high school, the age of 9 through 12, I never disagreed with a coach publicly. Like I never even told Matthew about it. I did. I mean, I was not agree with certain calls or certain ways to use Matthew as a player, but I never said it wide open. We just worked, in our time off on certain things because these different coaches. You have high school, you got AAU, so if a coach wants Matthew to shoot deep threes and that's what he wants him to do, yeah, that's what we practice. Right. So I did not disagree with the style. I said, okay, that's what you want Matthew to do. Okay, now let's switch our training and let's start shooting deep threes. You want Matthew to play in a corner and be off the ball and then just shoot from the corner? Okay, let's switch our training and let's do more shooting from the corner. So like that, even though you don't like it, you become effective.
So even a player at Matthew's status and skill set, he would still try to find his role within the team, within the system, and the coaching.
Yes. Switching coaches or programs, at least for me, I was never a fan of it. So we stuck to the same program for a couple of years, and we always adjust to what the coach plan was. Even at Banning, same thing. Coach, when Matthew's on the ball, all the coaches figure it out. So they were just trapping and double teaming Matthew. So coaches start playing off the ball, and they have Matthews cutting through the middle, doing a lot of baseline cuts and stuff like that. Guess what? That's what we practice in our time off. Let's go and practice these shots. So as a dad, me being a dad, just watching, all I did was just watch how the coach was utilizing Matthew. Because if you're not shooting jump shots, why are we going to practice jump shots? If you're not doing layups, why spending 3 hours on layup? But if the coach has you running through three screens and pop from the corner. So let's practice that. Let's start running from one corner and come to the other corner, and I'll give you a pass because that's what you're doing during that season. Absolutely. So we recreate a lot of plays, and for me that was very important for the last 2 years, understanding how the coach was using him in the team,
so he could best prepare.
Yeah.
On his own.
Like if you don't have him in the corner, why I'm going to shoot corner shots? So that was.
So what do the next 4 years look like? Anything you plan on doing differently from a dad perspective?
So I'm lucky he gets to play locally. So definitely go and watch him. I don't know how how college is. I don't know what the schedule is. I do want him to be a student athlete, so I have to make sure that he's successful in the classroom as well. Um, and it's a different schedule now. He more time off, more the in college. You don't get an email as a parent from the instructor be like, hey, Matthew was not in class today, or Matthew got bad grades, or Matthew did this or that, or is missing an assignment. So I really want to be a facilitator on the academic side. Because I think the basketball, he has the passion and he has the commitment. So that will come along. Like I don't have to remind him to go to training or do weights. Now you have a coach They definitely will a program. I mean, it's more than just a coach. It's a big program that they will help them get to the next level for sure. So I just sit back, and if I can help, uh, go shoot and do little things here and there, I will do that. But I think I'm gonna enjoy the travel, going to the games, going out of state again. I didn't get to do it this year because he didn't play AAU, so do it again. We're planning to be hopefully at all his games, which the schedule looks very hectic. So let's see let's see how that goes. Yeah,
That's awesome. That's awesome. So right now let's just say that there's a dad with a 10-year-old son, and they're getting ready to head to practice right now. What do you tell that dad that's raising a young boy with the dreams of being a college athlete? Is there anything that you could tell that dad? It sounds like to me
yeah,
there's a lot of a discipline and then trust the process. And it
yeah.
sounds like the family.
Make him understand. And it's a 10-year-old, so you have to make him understand there are going to be failures in the process. It's okay. It's okay to miss. It's okay to uh, not getting as much play time as you believe you might need or earn. Um, just make them fall in love with the game. Once they fall in love with the game, uh, the rest is easy because now they want to do it.
And that's
If you
what you
make it
sound like
hard, yeah.
with Matthew at college. You're not worried about the basketball.
No,
He loves
he loves
basketball.
basketball.
He's
Yeah,
going to do basketball. You still want to make sure he's a student
it's
to
a student,
prepare.
no, for sure.
Just real quickly, what is he going to school for? Has he decided
It's
what?
gonna be sport management.
Okay.
Yeah, so coach, he was gonna be business, but then during a UCCS visit, coach brought up that other field, so I think that's why he's
That's
doing
kind of what he's going
it. Yeah.
for. What is something that people don't see behind a successful athlete like Matthew?
Oh, the commitment, the sacrifices of the family. For sure. Like it is the recruiting process, the process to become a student athlete, keep up with the grades. It takes a lot of time, and it's not even. I'm not talking about 4 hours a week. I'm talking about 10 to 12 hours a week. Uh, and once it gets older, once you start getting to like 11, 12th grade, junior and senior year, then you start talking about nutrition. You start talking about weight training. You're talking about recovery. Um, because now the way college is you playing big guys. So the hours that you have to put into, um, depending also on the goals of the kid. You
For
have
sure.
to, yeah, depending on the goals of the kid. Like if the kid just want to be a successful high school athlete, then that's one thing. But if the kids start talking about going to college in and play at the college level, it's is way more. The recruiting process with the portal and stuff like that, it's is brutal. I mean, you could be a successful athlete and you can have a college coach telling you to your face, "You're good, but I don't need you," or "You're good, but I have three more guards from 2 years ago. That's just juniors or seniors coming back." All right. So you just prepare yourself as a parent and do the homework. Do the homework because you are like a mini agent to your kid. So you got to learn how the process works and how some of these college coaches think.
And
Yeah,
it sounds like
they'll
they
tell
just
you.
tell you.
They'll
They
tell
they
you.
tell you,
They
and
tell
you
you. Yeah.
obviously had to, you didn't rebuttal, you didn't spurt back, you didn't make a big thing of it. It probably hurt you deep down and stuff like that,
Yeah.
but not letting Matthew see it, or even
Yeah.
the way that you responded in that type of moment was probably bigger than creating a scene or doing something like that. Um, What's your hardest moment as a sports dad? The one for me that stands out for you, and just to give you an idea, was just this year up in Denver, tough loss, had to come home, and then the next day you have the third place game. What is something like that due to a father-son relationship, and installing that discipline and that commitment to the love of the game, that this is another opportunity for him to go and compete.
Believe it or not, that loss in the Final Four, it was not it was not hard to understand to me. Like the sport is on, I've been telling this to my kids my whole life. Okay, uh, when you play team sports, it's only one trophy. It's only one, and it's 20 teams, 25 teams, 50 teams, right? Even in the NBA, whatever level you play, there's only one trophy. They don't have 6, 7, 8 trophies for different levels, right? Different places. So just because you guys don't achieve that goal as a team doesn't mean the work individually is done. All right, especially in the high school level. Because the high school level, not every kid wants to be a hooper. Some kids are they just want to play for fun, and having that understanding. Me as an adult, I understand it because multiple failures throughout life. You know everything is pretty. So, but explaining that to my son, it was basically, man, there are some things that you cannot control. You're gonna have some teammates that they just want to just play, right? In basketball, you gotta have 6, 7, 8 guys. They can do it, right? So doesn't mean the team is bad. It means that you have 3 or 4 teams that are better than yours.
But the process, competing.
You have to compete all the way to the end, and rule number one, and it's applied in my house, and I always bring it up to my kids when I think they're making a bad choice, is whatever you're doing, no regrets. No regrets. And I say that all the time. They're like, oh, here comes again that. I say, hey, you want to do that? Just no regrets. All right. So as long you did your best, and you can walk out with your head up, saying I did my best to help the team. I think we're good.
Okay. Now, on the other side, as a parent, what do you feel like parents should do more of? What can parents do more of? Even if you want to take it like from the stands, from the car ride home, just from those relationships. But what is something that you believe you would love to see more of when you go to a game, when you see an interaction between a father and son? What do you want to see more of?
I think be more involved, be more available. I hear a lot of parents saying, "Oh, he's 16 now. He can choose on his own." 16-year-old doesn't know what he's doing. All right, a 17-year-old doesn't know what he's doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it doesn't mean be a strict parent and tell him then you're gonna do as I said. That's not what I mean. I mean, be more involved where you can help him through that decision process. All right, whatever that is, in life. So, oh, he don't want to go to college. Okay, it's okay. He cannot go to college. Or he doesn't want to, which is okay if he doesn't want to go to college. So, well, what is the plan? What's the plan B or C? But don't be like, you just don't want to go to college. You just don't go to college. No, be involved in the process of, okay, you don't want to do this. So what about this or what about that? Because I see a lot of uh, and I sat on tables where parents say, well, uh, it's his problem. Whatever he wants to do, he's old enough to make his own decisions. Yes, they might be, but just be more involved and help into that process,
Do you want to help?
especially during the recruiting process. I mean, it's so stressful. They need somebody to help them out to navigate through all these different emails, conversation with adults. Kids don't do that anymore. You know what I'm saying? All they do is text. He might be talking to a coach, and just a simple email might turn them off. So be more involved, help them out, just help them achieve whatever goals they have.
They
Right?
have, and
Yeah.
just be there to fall back
Be there.
on.
Yeah, just be there. Don't let them take decisions on their own, because at the end of the day, it's going to come back to, oh, that was your choice. Well, that was your choice, and you were 17. If I look back when I was 17, like,
Yeah,
help them out for
absolutely.
sure.
Go ahead. I think you've said this, but I just want to hear you explain how you handled this situation. But you said that there were times that you were even wrong. right? And you learned from Matthew, or you found a different way about it, or a way to handle the situation to best fit your family. Um, did you ever have to apologize to anybody?
Well, I apologize to Matthew. Yeah, I said my bad, and we just move on. Like I say, it's we have once the boundaries were established, and there was never a misunderstanding of that is here to help me. If a mistake was made, a mistake was made, and there are some situations where there is going to be an age where the kids are going to test the
Do
waters.
they they
Yeah, all the time. Matthew did. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, and yes, and he will. And I'm pretty sure he will remember. He's gonna remember those for the rest of his life. All right. Because it was a 3 second, action play go, and then it's over. There's no grudges. There's no. We're not doing this no more. It's basically just go home and tell mom what you did, and then end of the story, right? But it's going to happen. It's not a deal breaker, and we did it, right? We were kids at some point. Hopefully you don't get a lot of those, and that's the goal, right?
Right.
Don't get a lot of those, but they're gonna try. They're gonna test once in a while.
And you still held to the things your father taught you, the discipline.
Yeah, because they start seeing you as a coach, or they start seeing you as, you know, they start losing perspective of, what the plan was. We talked about this 2 years ago. Don't switch it on me now, right? This is the plan. We're gonna stick to it. Well, but Soso says something, okay? And who is Soso? Where was Soso 2 years ago
when we were
when
making.
we were start this? You know what I'm saying? Now you're hitting a little bit more shots. You're more comfortable. You're getting more minutes. You're getting a little write up here and there. Where those guys were when we start building this up, right? So it's just a quick reminder. Nothing too crazy. Yeah,
That's awesome,
yeah,
though. But the discipline, the being on the same page,
yeah,
and then staying true,
yeah.
staying true to it.
Stick to the plan. We used to, we try something every year. Every year at the beginning of the season, we went together to Walgreens and we bought a whiteboard. And the white little folding whiteboards is two sides of it. We got the academic side and we have the sports side. And Matthew will write down both. Uh, and at the end of the season, at the end of the year, we sit down and do an evaluation of it. Okay, you said you were going to average this much, or you said you want to average, you want to get these grades, or you want to get these awards of these certain things, right? And some of them he didn't. He didn't never check the blog on most of them or on all of them. Uh, but we talked about it, and they said, okay, let's say how we're gonna in the following year he'll do the same thing. It's okay, how are we gonna achieve these things? Oh, you want to shoot more than 40% from the 3 point line? Okay, so guess we have to practice more threes because that's one of your goals, right? You want to be player of the year, all right? You gotta make sure that your team has success, all right? Because in my belief that's part of, you know, that type of the voting, right? You got to get yourself seen. You got to get to Denver. How'd you get to Denver? I mean, we were close not to get to Denver, but at Vista Ridge, but we did. So certain things, you want to be the lead scoring on your league, okay? How you do that within your coach's plan? Because if your coach only wants you to average 20 to help the team, your goal might not be aligned with what your coach wants. So we had that's what I'm saying. Like basketball helps you so much to have these conversations with your kids. Uh, they actually make them think, make them make their own decisions. So it's I think it's a good practice to have those goals written, because as a dad you can go back to them. There's no like, oh, we talked about it. Oh, no, you wrote them.
You wrote them.
They're right there.
There you go.
So
I
yeah,
like that.
especially on the academic side too. You want a student athlete, you want to go to college, you got to have this type of GPA. Uh, what's going on here? Why are you struggling on this class? Okay, why? I mean, if it's a real struggle, let's talk about it. But don't tell me it's a struggle just because you forgot to turn in an assignment. That's not it's not valuable. That's not an excuse. So
Did Matthew's transcripts help him or hurt him in the
he
recruiting
helped him.
process?
We always kept him on track because we understood that um, you know grades matter, and they do matter. I'm sure right now they do matter. Um, and I did that early. We did that at his freshman year because those were the grades that, for the most part, hurt the kids, right? Because they're not thinking about playing
They
basketball.
get it together their
They get
junior,
it
senior
together junior,
year.
senior, and then junior, senior Matthew was already in cruise control, but we were more focusing on the freshman year and the sophomore year. And yeah, if you don't have those grades, especially if you're trying to go to a private, if you're trying to go to a private college, that academic scholarship matters. It
Big
matters.
bucks.
It matters. So you better be up there in the 350 and above. If you're looking for that type of schools, if you're looking for those type of schools, you gotta have a good GPA.
You gotta have the grades. All right. Well, again, this is my last question. I want to thank you for coming out here and chatting with me
Oh,
and
sure.
sharing your experiences and your story with all of us here. Is there anything that I didn't ask you when you heard you're going to have this interview? You're like, man, I hope he asked me this because these fathers and dads need to know. I think you mentioned how important it is to be present. I think you mentioned how important it is to have discipline and to install those family things early. But is there anything that I missed that you would like to take a moment to just share with a father or a family member, maybe even a wife, a teacher, that can make an impact on someone today?
I mean, I would say it doesn't matter. That don't be afraid to learn something to help your kids. All right, and your son is playing hockey now. Guess what? Become the best hockey coach or skater that you can be. It doesn't mean you're not a pro, but there is a lot of resources out there in the internet nowadays that you can add value to your kids' development, right? There's a lot of coaches out there that know a lot. Just learn from them, and and become trying to be an asset to your kids' development. I think that's the key. It was never meant to be in charge or trying to do what I said. It was always, how can I help you? Because I can definitely not pay for a camp every week. Some people can. Some people have a hoop in their backyard,
All right.
right? Not everybody can. It's okay. How can I be an asset? Okay, so let me learn from the best, so we can recreate that in the gym, in the places that I can take you,
That
right?
you
So
can.
so work with your kids as a parent, and help them any way you can. I think to me that's the key. Even in the kitchen, even in the weight room. I mean, 2 set of dumbbells do it all. You don't have to go to a fancy gym and stuff like that. But if you can help your kid through that process, it's definitely more than not doing anything. So that's very. I think as a dad, that's something that I will take with me. It's like
Just be
the
an
fact that
asset.
I was there and I help you either any way you need me to be. You want me to be a rebounder now? I'll become a rebounder. You want me to be a track coach? Because now you want to do heels and you want to run, you want to do reps at the track? I guess I'll be a track coach now. Like whatever it is, the resources out there, just do your best, I guess.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, man, I do
Oh,
again,
sure.
Jose. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in and watching episode 1 of the Fatherhood Playbook. I know there's someone out there that needs to hear this story, has a young Hooper, young boys at home. What a great message we just got from Jose. And again, thank you for your time. Please share, like, and we'll see you next time, episode 2 with Luke Howry's father, Jim Howry. Gonna have a great episode. We'll see you guys soon. Thank you again.